Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Wednesday here on ChronoSpeakeasy.com. I'm Paul, joined with Angela.
Hi.
Giggle and Chandler.
Hi.
And Rob.
Hello there.
Stoic Rob.
Hey.
Rob, what are you drinking?
Dasani sparkling lime.
Ooh.
I go to the grocery store and whatever sparkling water is the cheapest, I buy. This week, it was Dasani.
Ooh.
Paul's
Yep.
got water. I have a shot glass of peach flavored vodka, and Chandler has a old beer fridge.
Banner,
Fridge beer.
Bronx Brewery, Kolsch Golden Ale. There's a lot of additives right now.
That is it? It's got to be local.
Are you
It's a very descriptive, but not particularly well-designed can, if I do say so myself.
I agree with you.
For those who don't know, Rob actually minored in beer can design.
Oh.
For somebody who hasn't drinking much beer in their life, I have always been fascinated. There's a lot of good-looking beer cans out there. Like, you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but if I go to a liquor store, I'm judging the beer by its can.
Oh, absolutely. I do the same with wine.
Did Rob say drink it?
Sure.
Get alcoholics.
For someone who hasn't drinked it did a lot of beer. That's what it sounded like.
He drank it
Except
a
for
little too
tonight.
much. Yeah, a little too much beer.
We'll find out
His
in editing.
quote unquote sparkling Dasani.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually those hard seltzers that people keep getting like alcohol
Yeah.
poisoning with.
That's not the
what?
only thing that's going to be sparkling tonight.
Apparently it just tastes like water, so people drink like 8 of them and then die on the beach.
That's terrible.
I don't know if they're dying, but
That's horrible.
get pretty messed up.
Probably a really bad hangover with a sunburn.
You remember the Ford Loco thing that was happening years ago?
I never had the original recipe. I'm so upset.
Oh my god, that was the craziest
tasted
Halloween
out
of my
in
life.
school.
For one, it was like 2009 or 10,
Yeah.
and I didn't drink it all the time, so I was just a spectator at the craziness that was Four Loko. And it got dark. My friend had a party and there was like way too many people there. They were all hopped up and then they all passed out like almost simultaneously, and it was weird.
I saw the aftermath on the BU train. I saw a lot of just sad, like, girls vomiting everywhere.
Oh my god, why?
I saw way too many people, like, vomiting in their purses. Like, way too many. Like, way too... Like, one is too many, but there was, like, more than that. Just bitches vomiting in their purses.
Well,
The world
there's a
wasn't
title
ready.
for this episode, Bitches Vomiting in Their Purses.
Is that what DC's doing right now? Is this their Ford Loco?
I think,
They're currently vomiting in their purse.
yeah, dude, there's a lot of, well, I don't know, this is kind of a developing story, because this just happened today.
Yeah, what is happening?
I don't know, but it sounds like, according to the Hollywood Reporter, which I feel like is a source that we should trust, maybe.
Yeah, they're the wood. What's that journalist?
They're the wood of news.
Bob Woodward. Who's the guy who just wrote the Trump book?
Oh,
He
yeah,
also
and
wrote
also the Watergate. Yeah, I think it's Bob Woodward.
Woodward. Yeah, they're the
Squidward.
Hollywood Reporter is the Bob Woodward of Hollywood.
I thought that's what Teen Vogue was.
I don't know. This is not my specialty. I'm not the Bob Woodward of anywhere.
But it looks like Henry Cavill.
That guy?
Yeah, the guy who was in Mission Impossible, which I gotta say, I thought he was really good in.
He pulled that
haven't seen it
mustache
yet.
off well.
He did. But yeah, apparently, I don't know, according to the Hollywood Reporter, he's not gonna be Superman no mo. And, and apparently now it looks like Ben Affleck may be hanging up his cape and cowl.
Oh, no.
They've been saying that forever, though.
Everybody
Yeah.
dying.
What are we going to do without Ben Affleck as Batman? Oh,
He is a local hero, okay?
yeah.
Hometown
okay.
hero.
I mean, I don't know, I didn't mind him as Batman.
Me either. I'm not sad, but But
I don't know what's worse, like being terrible. I mean, at least like if you're terrible, you're memorable. But if you're just like there, it's like, oh god, that's even worse.
I just wasn't wild about the computer voice that he had going on. You know, like it was just like an angry Siri. Just,
yeah.
you know, he had the weird voice modulating thing.
I don't know. When it comes to voices, though, I think nothing beats fucking
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, just like grunt muffling the whole thing. Like
I I you know what? I would have loved to have seen the evolution of that voice because, you know, Christian Bale, he's a really intense actor. I'm just imagining like Nolan and Bale sitting down for some tea and, you know, so Chris, what I'm thinking for the Batman, is I want him to be dark and terrifying. And, you know, Christian Bale's like, oh, I know, but everyone's going to be expecting it. So what if the first time you see him, he's like, he gotta rattle some cages. You know, I think it'll surprise people. And Nolan was like, you fucking idiot. No. No. No.
Yeah.
So Paul's cold right now. I think the listener needs to know that.
I know, I really don't feel good.
Hang in there, Paul.
I do want to say, regardless of Ben Affleck, who I'm completely indifferent about, I really liked Henry Cavill as Superman.
I did
feel like
too.
he was just never given
Yeah.
anything good to work with.
Right? For real.
Like when you look at him, you're just like, that's Superman.
Yeah. No,
Dude.
I totally feel that.
Well, it sounds like, again, going back to the Hollywood Reporter, was that there was some scheduling conflict with him in the Shazam movie, apparently.
He was in that.
He was going to be. I think there's going to be a cameo. And then it sounds like that DC, or Warner Brothers is shifting their attention on a Supergirl movie, and that a Superman sequel would be a little down the road. So I don't know if it's part of it is just he's going to be too old by the time we get back to him. I don't know. It's all very speculative at this point.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened surrounding this silliness. Because, like, I heard the news that he was, like, no longer going to be Superman. And then, like, 10 minutes later, I saw stuff like Michael B. Jordan in talks of being the next Superman.
I saw that too. What the F? What is happening, you guys?
I like Michael B. Jordan, but I feel like...
I don't want him to be Superman.
But I also feel like there's so many other black superheroes that you could, like, tap into where you don't have to... Like, the way I see it, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm not saying that they can't be black Superman, but do like the black Superman that, was the one from the other universe?
Okay.
Like, there's like Justice League 3000.
So bear with me.
Or Steel.
I can't believe I'm going to say this. Can't believe I'm going to say this.
Buckle up.
But Superman needs to be white. Like... Superman needs to fucking be white because Bia Kuez, he like the whole like growing up in Kansas thing, and the fact that his alter ego like is trying to be normal, like just a normal guy. Like everybody else has like their superhero is their alter ego from their normal life, but his is completely reversed. So he needs to be white. You can't have him sticking out like yourself. If you made Superman black, like, oh
in
my
Kansas.
god, it's in Kansas? In Kansas. Like,
No racism ever.
oh my god, it would be a shit show. It would be a shit show. Kansas would be gone. America would be gone. Because he would just blow that shit to high heaven and be like, you know what?
Like,
fuck Earth. I'm good. Seriously.
I think it would be a cool Elseworlds because I feel like it would kind of like how Red Sun was like if he fell in the Soviet Union. It's like, what if Superman was born?
No, if Superman,
like he still had loving parents, but he also experienced just the darkest hit of Earth, and by the time he was like 8 years old, he just murders everyone.
Yeah, just destroys the
He's
whole
like,
planet. The
"Y'all
whole
terrible
planet's
people."
gone. Yeah, the whole
Indian
planet will be
slums.
gone.
I feel like if he was in Kansas, he would bond over. Do you say Indian slums?
Yeah, if he
Yeah, I
landed
feel like-
there instead.
If he go there,
grew up in the slums of India, he would probably the Earth would stand a better chance than if he grew up like black in Kansas. Like
It would be interesting though.
for real. Let's be real, guys.
I think
Yeah.
if you were to tackle a black and not just a black Superman, but a black Clark Kent, I think it would be interesting, sort of in a way that you look at Luke Cage and how the notion of like a bulletproof black man, because they kind of keep referencing that in Luke Cage, like the, especially with wearing his hood up, like I think can you imagine, like if someone had a cell phone footage of like Clark getting shot and like what would that mean like for exposing himself and putting a different light on that kind of attention, like, oh, not only we shining a light on police brutality, or it might be an interesting scope for Superman to be revealed to the world through an act of violence by an authority we're supposed to trust.
I think there's
Or that could be
interesting stuff
the
you
day cool
could
talking.
do
I don't know.
with a black Superman, kind of, because there's all kinds of cultural stuff you could tackle with the character that you couldn't really do before, like kind of like the stuff Paul was saying. Or on the other hand, it could be like basically he's just the best person in the world and he happens to be black, so he like in a weird way makes some people less racist, but then others more. I don't know. It would have to do with racist assholes either way, and I feel like that's not what I want in a Superman movie.
It would just be like Obama Part 2. That's all it would be. It would, because like seriously, like he had to be the best human being with the best family ever. Like there wasn't a skeleton in any closet. There were no closets in the Obama, there's
Very
nothing to be
inconvenient for clothing storage.
There was nothing to be like scandalized like within that family, and still the country flipped their shit and hated on them. Like they were he was literally the most upstanding president we could have ever asked for. And like it's the same thing. If Superman was black, it would just be like Obama Part 2. It would just be like that. Like he could be the greatest human being on the face of the earth. In fact, Superman is the greatest human being. Well, Kryptonian on Earth. But yeah, no, everyone would hate him.
He's
One
like
thing-
X-Men.
Yeah, kind of. I
You
just feel
saved
like
us. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I feel like seeing it was with Warner Brothers' track record, I feel like they would take the very obvious approach and like redo his backstory. So like it's like, what if Superman crash landed in Harlem, and then he's literally Luke Cage but with Superman's powers.
Oh god.
Yes.
He crashes into a barber shop.
I
It's like,
think-
what's the most cliche, insanely like ugh.
Yes.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, no, I think DC just needs to like go sit down and just take a breather. Just sit down, take a minute. Don't just like jump into shit and just try to like make things work, because clearly it hasn't been working.
One thing that did work.
Aquaman come out yet?
That's December.
That's December. See, I don't even know.
They got
'cause
that.
That's how much I care.
They got Wonder Woman. That was good.
The
That's,
end.
I mean, that's kind of it, yeah. They got 2 chances coming up with Shazam and Aquaman to do cool stuff.
I'm excited for Wonder Woman too, which is basically
I'm
Winter
definitely
Soldier,
excited for-
because it's like it's gonna be a spy thriller, but set in the '80s. It's gonna have Reagan. It's gonna
Wonder
be
Woman
like,
2, Winter Soldier.
yeah, just be like, yeah, I don't know.
You know it's gonna be good if Reagan's there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially if like what sort of like role is she playing? Like if it's like a Dark Knight Returns type thing, like, well, we got a wild bronco you need to put in its place there, Wonder Woman. Well, I think you're the best person for it. Well, Gipper, jelly beans.
It's a spot
There's
on
like
Reagan.
actual scene. I forgot. Oh my god.
He liked jelly beans. That's a fact. Look it up.
But what do you make of this super cryptic Instagram video that Henry Cavill posted like 45 minutes ago?
I don't know. I mean, he's wearing a Kryptonian Gym T-shirt and fucking dogs barking to some song I can't think of, a classic piece of.
Da 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 da. Bark, bark, bark.
Yeah.
I have to say,
With holding like a Superman action figure. So who the
I'm
fuck
not cultured
knows?
enough to know what song that is, but
when I say they, I mean white people, but when they first introduced like animal sounds to music, I hated it. But now I can't get enough of it. I love it.
Change the game.
That was my favorite part of that video, was the dogs barking.
I just wonder if that has significance. Like, is he actually playing Crypto, the dog?
Oh, good. I don't know. I think it's honestly what I think is that there are certain gears turning. Otherwise, like Cavill's agent wouldn't have said something about, was it just be peaceful or some shit was how her tweet started. And
What?
yeah, his agent, sorry, who apparently is The Rock's ex-wife, apparently.
What? The plot thickens, guys.
Yeah.
So there's some Black Adam drama.
Oh shit!
That's right. I mean, he was involved at one point.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the, this is the, oh, yeah, so this is Danny Garcia. Be peaceful. The cape is still in his closet. At WB Pictures has been and continues to be our partners as they evolve the DC universe. Anticipate a WB statement later today. So far I haven't seen a statement other than Henry Cavill and his, video.
I'm gonna do some quick research real quick. WB Henry
Pictures.
Cavill statement. Okay, 3 hours ago, they released a statement. I'm just going to read this big giant thing in quotes because I'm too
Cool.
lazy to do more
Paraphrase.
research. But it says, while no decisions have been made regarding any upcoming Superman films, we've always had great respect for and a great relationship with Henry Cavill, and that remains unchanged. So what?
That says nothing.
So was today just a waste? Is this episode just a dust? It's just a fart in the wind,
What's
as
happening?
Venom says.
Everybody's got problems.
Oh god.
That was the meeting he went to with WB. He's like, I can't be in Shazam. I'm doing another movie, and this big fat dude's just smoking a cigar. Like, everybody's got problems, Henry.
I don't know what's happening.
Neither do we.
I don't particularly care either. It's just a bummer because Superman,
Sorry.
like Man of Steel, had the best soundtrack in a movie in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to be uplifted, listen to that shit.
I
It's
mean,
a good time.
that is a really good score.
I may have heard this randomly somewhere, but was there talks of them positioning the DC extended universe as sort of like a Elseworld kind of scenario, so they can kind of
Phase it
not
out.
have to they're gonna have to kind of stick with the Justice League storyline. They kind of do whatever they want.
That's
so maybe
what-
this it might be Cavill doing another type of Elseworlds type movie, or a different character, or
That's what I thought Flashpoint was going to be about. I thought Flashpoint was going to be like, oh no, Barry, you ran too fast. And you changed everything. Which is, I just sent a
Honestly,
Flashpoint for you, by
That
the
really
way.
is the flashpoint. You ran too fast.
I think if they made the DC universe just standalone films that can go together, they don't have to. They can just be whatever they want. Is probably the best possible scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Because then someone could be like, "Hey, I wrote this really awesome Supergirl movie or Wonder Woman movie or something," and then they don't have to keep everything together, and they can just make the best movie. And I think that would be the best for everyone.
Yeah.
The end. Yeah, I think it would be. I don't know. I'm telling you guys, I still think that, I mean, if DC was going to try to go the Marvel route, I would have Blackest Night be their Thanos. I would have everything working towards that, and I would have the, who was it? Not N7 because that's Apocalypse. Who was the dude who gave Hal Jordan his ring?
Abin, sir.
Is it just Abin, sir? I'm gonna call him Abby.
Abby floated down.
Yeah, so I think because it was so, I feel like that's especially if you're setting in modern times, that would be a hard thing to ignore. Like, oh, this crazy ship landed, then a green orb flew out, then it grabbed a man and brought it back to the ship, and then they all disappeared. Like, I feel like that would bring Lex Luthor's attention. I think that would bring in Wayne Tech attention. I think if at this point you have Clark Kent under the radar, being like, oh, is he like me? Are there ties to Krypton? I think there's a lot of narrative threads you can all tie towards Abby crash landing on Earth. And I think that with the whole prophecy of the Blackest Night, that can be what everything is gearing up towards, you know? And I would have a young-ish Batman where, like, no one is really quite sure what's going on, other than there's, like, rumors of a man-bat flying around the city. Like, there hasn't been any established connection with Jim Gordon yet. I would say I would do this in the very early infancy. So when the Justice League comes together, you know, Hal Jordan's like, I don't know, guys, I just got this ring. I'm a space cop now. That's cool because I wear a blue suit and I can fly and I'm bulletproof and hey, I can run
That's
fast.
That's actually really brilliant.
And Batman's like, my parents are dead. Fuck you, I'm Batman.
That's actually a really good idea, Paul.
Thank you. Yeah, and then and then you could have little hints and nods about the upcoming Blackest Night, and that would be their Infinity War.
So now I'm mad that didn't happen. Like, because I'm legit.
I don't know.
Like,
What do you guys think? Like, if I were to go to Warner Brothers and be like, hey, this is what you guys need to be doing.
I would support you.
Definitely.
I think they would probably do it because it seems like they're doing all kinds of dumb stuff. Not that your idea is dumb, but they're just doing a bunch of dumb stuff.
Yeah. I wish, sometimes I wish there was, like, amateur pitches you could do because I feel like
Can you imagine how miserable every movie studio would be if all, like, crazy fanboys could pitch their ideas, though?
Oh, God.
Like, who would want that job?
I know, but I think if you have some interns just maybe watch some video submissions and be like, hey, these are the handful of videos that we actually kind of like. Because honestly, I don't know, I'm biased because I thought of it, but that's a series of Justice League films I would totally be intrigued in watching. You know? I mean, I don't know. I like the idea of, like a not fully established Batman yet, not a fully established Superman. You know, like it would be everybody figuring it out together. You know, and maybe even Wonder Woman could sort of be like the mentor in a way because she's fucking old as hell.
That is true.
You know, and she's a warrior, and she'd be like, "Hey, I see something in all of you, but you boys need to be whipped into fucking shape." So
yeah.
I don't know. I think Wonder Woman leading the Justice League could be really cool.
That would be cool. But she'd be like Mom.
Well, not necessarily. You don't have to do it like Mom. I mean, you could do it. I mean, at the very least, I would do it at least as a cool older sister. That it'd be like your friend's older sister you have a crush on.
Just like Drill Sergeant.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it could be cool. I don't know.
I love it.
And I would give Cyborg a break. And that's not a race thing. I just think that I think it should be Manhunter.
Yes.
Martian Manhunter should be in place of Cyborg, you know? And then even then, having a Martian pretend to be a human walking amongst us, and then all the shit comes out about Green Lantern. I'm telling you guys, they literally follow the light. That's what brings them all together, you know? And then unknowingly, you know, they kind of fulfill that prophecy of being Earth's defense against the Blackest Night. And then Necrocon, whatever his name is, he could sort of be like their Thanos.
I would like to see Michael B. Jordan play Manhunter. Right?
That's a great idea. And you know what? I think either people who are somewhat established or complete unknowns, that would be the way to go. My dream casting, though, I swear to God, is Ser Jorah from Game of Thrones. I want him to be Alfred so bad. Like, I think he would be, because I feel like he's old enough to be a father figure, but not quite old enough where, like, you know, I think this guy could throw a decent fucking punch at me. You know, where he is still kind of capable. And obviously, and I don't mean like jerk Alfred like we got in Gotham, but, you know, you could have a father figure, somebody who was a British soldier, or a secret agent. Yeah, and the rest, I mean, yeah, either up and coming or, not to say that Michael B. Jordan is up and coming because he's clearly established, but I think I think we haven't seen enough of him to be like, oh yeah, there's that guy from blah, blah, blah. Because that's sort of the problem I have with some other movies. It's like, I like seeing somebody I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Like, that was the magic of Chris Hemsworth as Thor. The only other movie I'd seen him in was Star Trek as Kirk's dad in the beginning scene. So I think when you've never seen somebody before who is talented, tackling a big role, it's almost like you almost kind of believe that that's Thor, because I don't have any association with him from anything else.
With Henry Cavill, because other than Superman at the time, I don't think I'd really known him from anything else.
Yeah.
I think it was just really unfortunate, going back to what you said earlier, that, because he was perfect for Superman. He was really perfect. It was just everything else that was garbage.
Yeah.
I hope there's still hope that he can do it. Or they just make a good friggin' Superman. There's no reason. They made good ones in the 70s. They can make good Captain America movies. There's no reason you can't make a good Superman movie.
Yeah, and I think part of the problem is, though, is that I think screenplay writers don't know how to challenge Superman. I think that's kind of part of the problem. And I think that was sort of what backfired in Batman versus Superman. I think the way Planet Earth responded to Superman in those movies made sense, because I think that would happen. But I don't like sad, dour Superman. I don't like Superman standing at ground zero of a bomb, just being like, oh man, they all dead. It's like, dude, you were faster than a speeding fucking bullet. Like, you mean you couldn't grab that dude in the bomb wheel? First of all, there was a bomb wheelchair. Let's just address that for a second. But the fact that he couldn't whisk that dude out of the building to explode miles above the building, like, come on. Like, I think they didn't know how to challenge Superman. And I think that, like, maybe don't even think about challenging Superman. Think about how to challenge Clark Kent. The emotional core. And I think, and I know people complain about the lack of good Superman villains. And we've had Lex Luthor and Zod. But man, if they did Brainiac, and if they did Brainiac right, if they take a page from the Bruce Timm playbook where Brainiac is the reason why Krypton was destroyed, that's a good narrative through line where, it's challenging Clark and Superman, because it's like, who would I have been if you hadn't done this? And having to reconcile that, I think would be more intriguing. But sorry, I'm totally rambling. I'm sorry, guys.
I was going to say, another thing kind of like what you were saying about not disliking the way people like handled Superman coming down. Like, you're right, people would freak out and be like, oh my God, he's going to kill us all. But I feel like through all of that, he needed to remain just like this complete ray of hope, like this optimistic ray of hope, and never like the best Superman stuff is always him just like in the face of whatever, he is still like, gotta do the right thing, gotta take the optimistic approach, just like
he has to set the example.
The best. Yeah, set the example. Especially
if, like, you kind of show, like, wow, we were really wrong about this dude. Maybe we shouldn't judge people who are different from us so quickly and harshly. I think...
But I just think they did make him too sad. They made him... Like, the way they wrote him, he was almost selfish. He wasn't, like, the selfless having, like... I don't know. I feel like Superman needs to treat every single person on the planet the same, like, level of love. Whereas in the DC universe, he basically only gave a shit about Lois Lane.
Yeah. See, and I think I kind of like the idea of Pa Kent being like, if you do this, you are exposing yourself, and who knows how people will take it. And I think that, Clark has to be like, yeah, I know, Pa, but this is the right thing to do. Like, this is...
Yeah, he's like, shut up, old man. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. I think, or maybe even the lesson being like, that there's consequences to no matter what you do. There's consequences of staying silent, and there's consequences of, putting yourself out there in the world, and it's just what outweighs the other. And that's something that only Clark could answer. So yeah, I don't know. Fuck, I want to write a Superman script. I think
Yeah.
I think I could
Do
I think I
it.
could do it.
Do it.
I actually am working on a very different script, but I'll save that towards the end of the podcast because I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this because it's definitely comic book related. But yeah, I don't know. You watch the DC animated movies and it's like, why is none of the WB executives watching these movies? Like, because when we watched Death of Superman, that was incredible for a straight to DVD movie.
Yeah, it was. I liked it.
Better than the comic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like the way how they got the Justice League involved.
Yes.
You know, and they were all kind of fighting Doomsday. Because in the comic, it was like sort of the second tier Justice League. I mean, you had like the core people getting involved, and I liked
it was really good.
And the emotional stakes in that movie were great too because it was like Clark coming to terms with coming out to Lois Lane. You know that he was Superman. You know, yes. See, and that's the thing. It's like emotional stakes. I think they need to revisit it and do it in a way. You don't have to complicate it, but don't solve everything because their mothers had the same name.
So dumb.
Like, it's like they had all this, like, the script written except for that one part. They're just like, why do they stop fighting? And they were just like, their mom's the same name. Fuck it, whatever. Instead of taking 5 minutes to think of a reason for them to stop fighting. Like, they
Just have
both
Lois
want-
come in
And
like,
you
hey guys,
knew-
stop fighting.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you knew that was coming back when they die in the beginning, and he's like, Martha. I'm like, oh, that's just gonna fucking come back in the third act.
Yep.
Symbolism, foreshadowing.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Symbolism.
It's Chekhov's gun, but rather than being a gun, it was a fucking name. If there's a Martha in the first act, there's gonna be a Martha in the third.
Filmmaking 101, guys. Get it together.
Hello, Guano.
Ah, God, it's...
Is that guano?
Yeah, how do
I feel like we
put through
talk
an
about how
Ace Ventura
DC
reference?
could make good movies almost every episode, but maybe
Yeah,
someday
but
they'll do
Angela
it.
really liked how I said it this time,
He did.
so I think it was worth it. I'm working on my pitching skills, you know?
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, I personally would like to see DC continue with Henry because I do think that he's a good Superman. I think
Yes.
that the problem is that it's so sad to see talent that isn't supported by the right script or the right director or the right anything for that matter.
Suicide Squad.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord.
Jesus Christ.
Still haven't seen it, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
Just drop a bunch of good actors in a bad script. That's Suicide
The
Squad.
only good thing about that movie I thought was Margaret Robbie as Harley. I thought she was a great Harley.
I just assumed she would come back in another movie, so
Well, the rumor has they're going to do Gotham City Sirens.
I think it's Birds of Prey now.
Oh yeah, it's something. It's Harley and the girls.
Yeah.
it's just called that.
Yeah.
Harley and the Girls. The
Girls
trailer's just to
just wanna-
Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah, girls just want to have fun.
It's just them driving down the street, starting shit. I'd watch it.
Hell yeah, I would watch the shit out of Poison Ivy and Catwoman and Harley Quinn. Just doing their
Kicking
thing.
ass,
Yeah.
taking names.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Gotham City Sirens.
Yeah. I just don't know. And I think that's the consensus we've reached about a half hour into this podcast was we don't fucking know. Just get it together.
What is
you know?
happening?
Yeah, we don't know nothing.
But it's funny though. You look online, there are some hardcore, dedicated DC fanboys out there
Yeah.
who like just love to shit on MCU and the MCU fans. Like, there's now a thing called MCU tards, which is like
God,
lip
denial.
tards, but you know, yeah.
I've heard of this because I know the person who started the website Slash Film always posts online about how, like, even when he says negative things about Marvel movies, he's never had like threats against his life. But if he says anything against DC, all of a sudden, like, thousands of people start like making fun of his weight, like threatening to like boycott the website. And he's like,
Yeah.
So dumb.
he's just like, DC's diehard fan base is like the most toxic group
Oh
of
yeah,
people
real.
ever.
So all right, so there's actually this like Instagram
Oh
thing
my
that
God, let's talk about it.
I used to follow. It was called DC Olympus. They've got 6,000 followers, by the way, so I can't knock their thing too much. But I liked it in the beginning because it's DC Comics International, and they say there are myths, there are legends. We amount to being like those inspirations. We are the new age of gracefulness. But all they do is just shit on Marvel, and it's...
Let's see what we got. What do we got?
I don't know. Well, first of all, I mean, there's this. There's like when the Snyder Cut is finally released, so you can watch Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Justice League back to back, and it's just Supergirl bending over. It's like she's
Like, yeah.
It's a little...
Yeah, that's pretty rancid.
Yeah.
Fucking, oh my god. What's wrong with people?
Anyway, and honestly,
It's really lame.
if
That is so lame. It's the lamest thing ever. Like, I can't even, like, poke fun at it because it's just sad. It's just
So
sad.
pathetic.
It is. It's really lame.
that being said, if you're listening and you want to trash our podcast, that probably would be the greatest thing to happen to us.
Yeah, if you could trash us by leaving 5-star reviews on iTunes and then write your complaint, but leave 5
Love
stars
attention.
first.
Well, it's like, here's the thing I don't understand. This notion that you can't be both. You have to be one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
Also,
It's silly.
if somebody likes DC movies, I'm not gonna trash them. I may disagree, but I like a lot of bad movies.
Yeah.
Like if somebody was like, "Hey, The Love Guru is on TNT right now," I'd be like,
I love that
"I'll watch
movie.
it."
Mariska Hargitay.
Yeah. What did I make us watch recently?
Look who's talking to.
No. No. I made us watch
No,
The
that's a
Proposal.
great film.
Oh, The Proposal. I like. Wait, which one was The Proposal?
It's The
Was that
Proposal with
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
I like that movie.
I've seen that movie several times because Sabina watches it all the
It's
time.
so fun. It's so fun. But yeah, I like shitty movies too.
Dude, you know what's a great movie? It's
Everybody, I was gonna say, I feel like everybody likes shitty movies, and the shitty movies people like, I feel like says more about that person than the good movies they like.
Yes. Like one of my favorites, Center Stage, hands down.
Oh my god, yes.
Like I've seen at least the first 5 Step Up movies.
Oh my god.
Wow. That's impressive.
That is impressive.
By the
That's
end, it literally, those movies just became like, it's like pornography, but instead of sex, it's dancing. So like the story is so bad. And you're just like, I'm going to turn it off. I can't keep watching this. And then all of a sudden a dance scene comes in. And you're like, all right, I'm back in. And then
you know what's a guilty pleasure of mine is 16 Again with Zac Efron.
Oh yeah.
Zac Efron,
That's a good movie.
never
that
seen
man's
it.
a goddamn movie star.
Dude, no, it's seriously, it's weirdly entertaining. It's like Freaky Friday, but like it's a lot of good fun. Judd Apatow's wife is in it.
Leslie Mann.
Yeah. Also, one of the guys from Rito 911 is in it. He's like like the best friend who doesn't age, so he sort of pretends to be his dad. It's hilarious. It's really well done.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah,
I'll
you
watch it
should.
with you.
I would own that movie.
We
actually.
watch. Yeah, I like shitty movies. I like just really stupid like rom-coms.
Yeah.
They make me laugh.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Why are we talking about this?
Because we
know.
just ran out of steam. We ran out of
Remember?
steam.
No, wait. There's Captain Marvel pictures we never talked about.
That is
Yeah,
true.
Captain Marvel pictures. I think you know what really sold me was Nick Fury with his 2 eyeballs.
Yes.
I was like, why does this look wrong when it's right?
I loved
I was
her
like,
her leather jacket and the 9 Inch Nails shirt. I was like, I was back in time and I
was
didn't
like,
like
man.
it. I don't think I liked
The
it.
90s are alive.
See, that's that's my friend's older sister I would have had a crush on.
Yeah, I can't.
Oh.
I just it's too fresh. It's still
she
so
just
raw.
she looks fucking great as Captain Marvel.
I
Like,
love the Air Force
the costume
pictures,
design.
though. Those are great.
yeah, everything. Like the costume looks awesome. She looks awesome in the part. And like usually I hate the like kind of staged Entertainment Weekly photos So I'm happy that they kind of released what seem like screenshots almost
Yeah.
with like natural lighting, and it's not all crazy overproduced. But
What are your
I
thoughts
get
on
to
the
see-
scrolls?
I think they look all right. I feel like I'll have to see that makeup and stuff in the movie to like fully get a feel for it. But I mean, it looks, I don't know. I think it looks better than like the elves in Thor, or at least on par.
The Dark Elves. I
yeah.
did like what Jay said, that it looks like it was from an episode of Star Trek. So I think that's
Yeah, it
accurate.
definitely has a Star Trek feel.
I like the chins though. I feel like the chins could have been, terrible, but then again, you never know what things are gonna look like in post production.
Yeah, that's why it's rough with most promo pics. But these all look kind of like stills from the movie, or
Yeah,
at least close to it.
I do like what's his face from Guardians of the Galaxy. Apparently, was a member of the Marvel squad.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see his fall from grace. How he works for Ronan the Accuser, and I like that Phil Coulson's gonna be in it.
Yeah, I miss Phil. It's been too long.
Yeah,
I'm just super stoked for this movie.
yeah.
For one, because it's the first movie since. Well, I guess it's not. It's the second movie since Infinity War, but it's the first like one that.
She's
has
gonna
more of
fix
a-
this, and I just need to know how. That's
gonna-
really all I want. I
she's
just
gonna
I
kick
need
ass and
this. I
look
need
good
them
doing
all
it.
to come back and everyone to be happy.
Well, think about it. It's only 7 months away. Infinity War Part 2.
That was so fucking brutal. I started my period early. That's how shocking
Oh my
that
God.
movie was for me.
I wish it hit me
5
that
days.
hard.
5 days early.
Wow.
That's yeah. That's how stressed I was because of that fucking movie.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah. So I just need things to be okay again. That's all. It's been a tough year.
But yeah, I like to. Yeah, I'm excited. Ready to see how it's all gonna.
When does it come out?
May. So 7 months from now.
I'm gonna have a child by that point.
Oh,
You're
It's
gonna be
weird.
shit
I'll
just
have to
got
get like a
real.
babysitter to see that movie.
That is crazy. Oh my God, it's happening.
And it's gonna be a boy, right?
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
For those of you who didn't get to see just the blank stare on Rob's face as the wheels turned.
Someone's gonna really set in. Gonna like not be able to see movies the weekend they come out and stuff. Gonna
That's
start wearing
kind of-
white New Balance sneakers.
Oh no.
Gonna start buying jeans from Walmart.
You're gonna be
Cargo
tucking
shorts.
the jeans.
Get some Wranglers.
Oh.
You're gonna still be on the podcast, though, right?
Yeah. Maybe a little more sparingly for the first couple months, but
Yeah, that's fair.
That's so wild.
yep.
You know what I like, though, Rob?
Read my child Infinity War before bed every night.
But here's what I like, though, Rob. That should your son, I think whether he is a nerd or not, I like the notion that your son, at any point in time, can listen to a younger version of his dad talk to his friend about comic books.
Oh my God.
I like that he can tune in and be like, listen to the episode when you told us that, Sabina was pregnant, and us like gushing over that. I think this is going to be a really cool time capsule for him. So you're welcome, because this was my idea, Rob Jr. Here is a message from Uncle Paul from the distant past. You're welcome.
My son's gonna be a huge Batman vs Superman fan and be like, "Why do you guys always shit on the DC
Get
universe?"
out. Just get out, Rob Jr. You're not allowed
Rob's
here
like, where
anymore.
did I go wrong?
He's like, "I never even showed it to him. He must have seen it at a friend's house."
I have no son.
I had to like call some kid's parents, be like, "What did you show my child?" And they're like, "Oh, they were watching some horror movie, so I put on this superhero movie. I'm like,
That would be a funny idea for a script where, like, instead of like Clark in the Fortress of Solitude, where he can, listen to the crystals and holograms of like his father. He's like, yeah, I connect to my dad through his podcast. Yeah.
his dad has some like horrible right-wing conspiracy. He's like an Alex Jones type, so Clark Kent just has to listen to like his horrible dad and be like,
Oh no.
that's the real test.
That is.
Can he still be a good human with that as a father?
Jesus.
And that took a dark turn.
Yeah, it did.
Like it always does
Did
on
we
Wednesday.
just create the worst Superman movie ever?
Oh, in there somewhere is the worst superhero movie.
Yeah,
or
like
Superman
him
movie ever.
being black in Kansas, and then
Heretic
His white
father.
dad
And
is
his-
like an Alex Jones type.
his white dad is Alex Jones. Yeah. Oh my god. We gotta make this. This needs to
It
happen.
would definitely be different. It would definitely be a hot take on Superman.
Boy, that's for sure.
Oh god.
Golly.
So yeah, I've been reading Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four after our last episode talking about Fantastic Four.
How you
I
liking
also
it?
started reading that.
It's so real good. It made me laugh. The first arc with the Council of Reeds, basically a bunch of Reeds from different universes who
Jesus
get together
Christ.
to solve problems. And the whole time I was like, God damn it! I wish I hadn't seen Rick and Morty already.
You're
Dude,
right.
when I saw Rick and Morty, that was what I thought of. I thought of like the Council of Reeds.
I know. I was like, all I could think of was the Council of Ricks. And then I was like, oh man, Rick is just like the worst version of Reed Richards.
Yep.
Yep.
What would you do with the Council of Robs?
Play a lot of Magic the Gathering, probably.
Yes.
Like, I finally have people to draft with all the time. Go running in the woods with people.
That's horrifying. That's a horrifying image of just a bunch of Robs running through the woods. One has an eye patch. One is like I don't know, has like a huge burn on the side of his head. Just like horrible Robs
There's
running
like a
through the
ninja Rob
woods.
and
Just running through the woods. So upsetting. That is
we go
so
to like
upsetting.
a pizza place after. Just, yeah, I don't know. I don't think a Council of Robs would accomplish much productivity. We'd all be like mediocre at a lot of stuff, but not like, we're not changing worlds over here.
Very humble.
Yeah.
I think a council of angels would just try to kill each other. Like there could be only one. Like
It just becomes the one,
yeah.
the Jet Li movie.
Well, because I think like it would just be like first 5 hours would literally just be us there like sitting there silently judging each other, and then we'd form little cliques, and then it'd be like the Hunger Games.
Oh my god.
I'd like to think that if there was a Council of Pauls, it would just be like a film crew. Like there would
That's
be
actually really useful.
That's
there
really
would be like
useful.
there'd be like a screenwriting Paul, there'd be like a cinematographer Paul, like, and there'd also be a Paul who keeps working, just so like there's a steady income if like this production team just fucking falls flat financially, And I would make it to that there'd be a group of Pauls that just do a shit ton of overtime, but you just do like one shift. So rather than working a bunch of days in a row, it's like a different Paul and a
I
different
feel
day.
like your council and Chandler's council would be very productive. But Chandler's council would get ruined by my one surviving member of my council, and then we'd just be like giggling and making funny
The
faces.
superpowered soul Angela that exists.
What would Council of Chandlers be like? I feel like we'd all be like a Walmart greeter in every Walmart. like
Every
Nurse Joy
time.
from Pokemon.
Every time a new Chandler walks through like the portal to the Council of Chandlers, everybody just turns and goes, "Hello."
Hi. Yeah.
Hi.
Everybody's just constantly turning and waving, introducing themselves.
Oh my god.
It's a very friendly group of Chandlers.
Yeah. That was pretty brilliant.
That was
Walmart
pretty
greeter.
good. Oh God.
Yeah, Fantastic Four is good.
This is what happens when we
record
record an episode at the end of a very long day.
Yeah. Yeah. But Chandler, you been reading anything good?
I'm like still like going through Fables, but like I had to like take a detour to Jack of Fables because there's like a crossover trade and like you have to kind of like know what's going on in Jack of Fables. So I'm reading Jack of Fables and that's been really, really fun and actually really cool. I never really wanted to read it originally, but I'm glad I did. I've also I've restarted Adventures Academy. I started that way back in like 2011.
Wow.
And I just stopped. So I was like, oh, hey, it's on sale. So I'll read those. And it's actually still pretty good.
Aww.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's it.
Cool. Angela,
What?
what have you been reading?
Oh. I started rereading Jane Eyre.
How literary of you.
Thank you.
Literally.
Thank you.
I feel like that's one of those books go to the literature section of the bookstore.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about your project?
Oh yeah. So I started a YouTube channel, which is hilarious because I quit Facebook and I suck at social media, but I was just like, oh, let's do a YouTube channel. My therapist thought it was a good idea. So yeah, you guys should check it out. It's called Frequent Attempts to Adult. It's a little rough right now because I'm trying to figure out the audio on that bitch. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm trying. And so if you need help on basic adulting techniques, follow along with this shitty one.
Also, my mom has seen all the episodes and she loves it.
Really? Really? Oh my God, she's so sweet. And I am so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed that she's
let
seen
it consume
me.
you.
She's seen me like that.
No, she loves it. She thought it was great. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very different, obviously, from what we do on this podcast. But I know Paul and I in the future are going to be incorporating and doing some partnerships for Into the Lion's Den. And yeah, so fucking check it out, bitches.
Yeah, see that same page.
It never stops.
Yeah, so check it out. It is really good. Frequent Attempts to Adult.
Domino's in it. So
Yeah.
if you've listened and you've heard us talk about our dog Domino, you'll get to see her.
Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah.
I'm still trekking through X-Men and New Mutants and all the crossovers, and I'm just kind of getting down to the part in X Factor where they reveal Archangel. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know this, but apparently part of the story is that Angel was injured during the Mutant Massacre, where the Marauders go after the Morlocks in the sewers, and his wings get fucked up. And the story is that Warren Worthington, aka Angel, killed himself, and so this evil.
Wait, because his wings were fucked up?
That's what the X-Men were told, and what the public at large was told. And that this guy, I think his name is Cameron Hodge, who was like the PR businessman for X Factor. He manipulates it so that he inherits Warren Worthington's company and the money, and Cyclops is pretty convinced that he's the reason why he's dead. Meanwhile, you have Apocalypse forming this his fourth horseman. Obviously, it's Archangel, Warren Worthington. So that's where I'm at right now, and but so I just because I was on my Justice League spiel earlier, I started working on this sort of script, and it's all Dan's fault because Dan had a video where he had an unboxing of the PS4 Superman system. Spider-Man. And that's really cool. It's all red, got a spider on it. And so Dan and I were just chatting about Spider-Man and Spider-Verse and all that. And I had said, I would love to see a movie where you have Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland together in the same movie. because I hated how the Maguire franchise ended. I hated how the Garfield franchise ended. So I want to see some resolution, while also kind of like passing the torch on to Tom Holland. So I thought, okay, if this were to be a movie, what would be the structure? How would it work? And so, in the beginning, you have two very different timelines. You have Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, who is at the peak of his professional career. Like, the movie would be him running late to his own award ceremony, and so, and he has this really nice scene with Aunt May, interrupted by J. Jonah Jameson, being like, "Where the hell you been?" Blah, blah, blah. And J. Jonah actually kind of beaming over Peter Parker. Like, I taught this kid everything he knows. I always believed in him. Always knew he had a great eye. Blah blah blah. And so, and Peter's up on the stage and he's talking about, the responsibility of being a reporter and the responsibility for speaking for those who can't speak for themselves, and in a roundabout way talking about Uncle Ben, who kind of showed him that way, and how he wouldn't be here without his friends and family. And he looks out and he has a little Parker table, but it's just Aunt May, because at this point Harry's dead, and I thought there's no way the MJ-Peter relationship would have continued after how Spider-Man 3 ended. So you have a Peter Parker who professionally is doing great, but emotionally he's miserable. And then on the other side, you have the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man where, he is, struggling at being Spider-Man. And so, and also, sorry, I skipped a step where Tobey Maguire's, his universe, his Spider-Man is accepted by the community as well, because in Spider-Man 3, there's a whole Spider-Man Day, everybody loves Spider-Man, so that hasn't gone away, but the Andrew Garfield he has the sound emotional structure. So he has a family, he's married to his MJ, they have a daughter, it's almost as if one more day had never happened, but his emotional life is great, but everything else is just barely holding together. Like, they're poor. Like, my introduction to him is like him running through the streets in his Spider-Man gear, and it's like just dark and like muddy and ripped, and it's just two drastic points of view. And then you have the Tom Holland Spider-Man in the middle of that. And so, when he has interactions with these other characters, he's looking at two possibilities. Like, it's like, well, do I go down the path of being successful in this way, or do I go down the path of being successful in that way? And can I have both? And so that is sort of like the overall kind of like emotional character arc of my quote unquote Spider-Verse. Like, you still have like Moreland and like him kind of going universe to universe trying to kill people with spider powers, but I've like outlined the script so that like I feel like it's what I would want as an emotional, satisfying conclusion for Tobey Maguire and the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. So that being said, I have successfully put everyone to sleep. If you're still listening, drop us some love on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, but especially iTunes. Give us some 5 stars, some reviews. We're also on Stitcher, and we're on YouTube. I mean, we're not hard to find. So drop us some love any which way you can. And as always, enjoy your issues.